So hopefully you guys have listened to this because I don't want to go through the entire, listen to the whole song just like I do with your guys's. I'm not going to do that with mine. So we're just going to go section by section. We'll start with the theme here. Okay, so I'm like almost hesitant to show you this because then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this all the time, and you shouldn't do this all the time, but I gotta show you because I did it on this one. This is not one piano, it's like several pianos kind of mixed together. So I will show you the pianos. I'm really stoked about this piano here because this is a previous student of mine has sampled and created this piano. And you can buy it for, I can't remember how much it is, but it's a great price. He did a fantastic job. Matt, you know him. It's David Molina. He sampled his piano, and he's selling this here. So this is what it sounds like. It's one of those nice intimate things. Okay, and then we have mixed in there, and I'll show you kind of the mixed levels as well. Here they are. So we've got this here. Okay, so it's mostly that the Eileen, and then emotional piano is the other one. So that one looks like this. Oh no, it looks like, okay. So in this one there's other pianos. Let's see if this isn't really emotional or not. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so then there's the emotional piano. And then I've got some noir going on because there's this special, you'll see. That's where like that felt key sound is coming from. So noir is this really quiet piano, but if you go into the settings, I think they're here. You have all this fun stuff to work with, like, isn't that? No, noises. Okay, here. See, that's the piano without anything, but look how much of this stuff I'm adding.
Yeah, you could really hear that.
Yeah, and then the pedal, of course, and I just love that stuff. And like, Native Instruments will have things like the piano player moving around as well, and it's super fun. You know, you get to hear the creaking of the bench and stuff like that. And those are added elements that, like, you know, a non-musician would be like, why would you want that in there? But then once you've been playing with samples for a while and you start missing the actual instrument, that's when you start putting those things in. You go, oh man, I love that. Okay, then I went crazy and I was like, I want to have this solo like have its own EQ and own treatment. So I duplicated all of the piano sounds that I had here into another solo track so that when the solo's playing, see, so now I can treat that differently. Okay, so another thing is you're hearing this insane amount of reverb coming through. That is a long reverb. It's probably gas chamber. That's my guess. Let's see. Oh no, it's before Altiverb updated. So this one I think is free, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's free.
Okay, so yeah,
Yes.
Supermassive.
It's hard to use, but it's free.
Right. Yeah, but once you kind of find something, you know, for something like this, it can be really cool. But then check out my EQs. I just talked to Jay about these EQs. If you look, it's hard to see, so I'll just magnify them. See how all my reverbs will have a high pass, low pass, and then my piano as well. Like this is one of the pianos that I just showed you. Look how I rolled off all of the lows and stuff. This is in the recording process, guys. This is not like a mix yet. But I am doing that kind of stuff. Okay, back to the song. So everything goes, and then let's see what when people come in. Okay, then we have this cool Moog
Eric,
thing.
Can I ask you a
Moog.
question about that? Is the spacing of that piano is very nice. Is that just from the preset of the Aileen itself?
I don't know. I mean,
Or
I'm always
did you widen
usually
it or
not.
anything, you know what I'm saying?
I'm usually messing with stuff. You know what I mean? I'll probably mess with the dynamic response. There's not a whole lot to mess with on here. You know, key.
I like the spread of it very much.
Yeah, me too. So I did mess with it a little bit. So yes, but who knows what I did? And I never do the same
Sure.
thing. Like I always start, like I'll save a preset, and I'm like, hey, this is my preset. You know, I might start with that, but like according to the song and what I envision, you know, I envisioned this guy. If you read the story that I sent, it's on the website. It's a guy who, you know, who's a curator for a museum. He's walking through the museum, but then he just goes into a fantasy world, and so. This is him walking through the museum. This is him kind of doing his job and getting ready to close down, you know, shut the doors, you know. But then he's going to go into his dreaming state in a second. So
Eric, what's the what are you using? Oh, it's you were just gonna pull it up, the Moog. Yeah. It sounded like a theremin.
It's nice.
yes, this is my inspiration from recording the theremin.
Yeah, I figured.
You know, it's always hard to find a theremin player that can play this well. So you just, you know, this is pretty much the same thing. But the key in this is, you know, using your, like I've set it up so that I have these controllers here. And one is, the glide is turning on and off at certain points, right? That's this middle one here. Make it even bigger. And then, this here is the vibrato, right? That I've set it to, I think modulation amount, maybe. No, that's the volume. So then where is my... I don't know. I think... Oh, that's embedded in here. Yeah. Anyway, one of them I've set to the oscillator, the modulation amount so that I can control the vibrato. It's a beautiful way to have a very expressive instrument between the volume, even though it's electronic. This is, Matt, we talked about like creating an instrument that you actually play like this.
Yeah.
But to me it's the combination between the dynamics and the vibrato that you can get so expressive with it. So and then glide as well. All right, so then moving on to this next section here. Okay, so let's see what this is. We have some vintage kind of like synth type stuff going on. 8DO makes these. So it looks like I doubled it. Let's see why. Oh, so interesting. It looks like what I've done is I've doubled it, and it's like just to get a different octave. It's interesting that I didn't pan these. Because that's usually what I do is I like try a different octave. I think I didn't pan them because I wanted it to stay kind of mono. It has that old school sound when it's mono. Right? If I wanted it wide, I would just do this. Pan this one this way. Pan the other one this way, and it would sound like this.
Yeah, it sounds better mono.
Yeah, because it has that
Almost-
that like old school sound, right? Like a mellotron.
Almost like a Nova chord, actually. Sounds
Yeah,
kind of
Nova
very
chord. There you go, like that
Nova
era,
chord-like.
right? And that's kind of
Yeah.
what I wanted, because it's like an old museum, right? He's not in this like, he's not in the Museum of Modern Art. He's in like an old one. All right, so. I mean, embarrassingly, I should have re-recorded this, but all this is a Rickenbacker bass from Contact Instruments.
wow.
Okay, so you can't buy this because I sampled this. This is actually... My friend had a Magnus, which is like this old, junky, electric kind of organ, and I recorded it and made that out of it. Okay, so then, moving on. Okay, let's look at this section because some instruments come in here. So we've got the solo, right, from the piano is playing this important thing. But to add a little flavor there, we have these mallets, which is my old vibraphone. No, yes, my old vibraphone, like vibes here that I recorded, and then I did some fake tremolo just by adding the tremolator on there. So it's this. Example of less is more. I just added these handbells, and it could have played the melody, you could put like bunch of other parts, but literally just I'm looking for the tone, and this is all it does. That's it. That's his moment of glory right there. Spitfire free, right? Yeah. Spitfire Labs free. Uh-oh, don't crash. Okay, good. So let's go back to that. So I did add some low end, guys. We talk about the dynamics and how it's not just loud and soft, but like extending the frequency range. So this is kind of key, is this. When he comes in there, it really adds that low end. Okay, next section. Okay, more Moog. I think I'm gonna sell my Model D. I used my Model D for this stuff, but now that UAD has one, I'm like too lazy to plug it in. This my workflow is so much faster, so I'm using this again.
Is that
but
the
it's
bass
with,
coming in there? What is it?
yeah, so that's bass. It's this.
Mhm.
But here's the key. It's the Juno that's providing like the width and the fatness.
What Juno is that one? Is that your real
That one's a
Juno?
real Juno, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't reproduce that with a plugin. I'm sorry, but I'm just.
I know how hard you tried.
I know, and it's also going
Did you
through
add
an
some
Avalon.
saturation to that low end too, or is that just coming straight out of the keyboard?
Yeah, that's it. But it's also going through an Avalon, which is a tube. It's a Class A tube preamp, And I played this Juno through, you know, just regular preamps, and but like it's not the same at all. So this is a case in which like the preamp is just like, oh wow, like that makes the Juno another instrument. So that's where it's getting that fatness. If you wanted to reproduce that, well, first of all, you can get a Juno 106, but you know, you're gonna have to find one on eBay from 19 whatever. But you can buy the Juno module, which is like the analog version of a Juno. That's like, it doesn't come with the keyboard. And I don't know. You go on reviews and see how they compare, you know, to the real deal. Okay, so the drums that come in here sound like this. Kind of a muffled sound, and then we have these as well. Okay, so Rob, your song, I was like, hey man, like let's get some percussion, but let's let it build somehow. So we did that with volume, but you can also do that with filtering. The filtering is gonna sound a little less organic, and more synthetic, but I kind of liked that feel, so you can see it kind of changing here.
Are you just automating a filter sweep on that then?
Exactly. So the filter sweep's happening, but then the resonance is going to determine how much that's kind of like poking out. So that's a lot of fun. Okay. Nothing special, right? It's not the part that I'm interested in, it's the rhythm, right? So the string players are playing a percussive instrument right now. You don't really hear that in the part. It just adds this kind of mysterious flavor, and I love doing that, where you're just creating an emotion. You're not really adding parts. I mean, it's just the doubled piano part, right? Here's the piano part. But then here's the dulce tone. And when you put them together, okay, here's another less is more section of just this guy here. And then, of course, he's got a bunch of effects on him. Let's see what he's got. Some EQ. Not much, actually, at all. So I don't even know why that's on there. But this thing here, yeah. And then that crazy reverb, that Supermassive, is on there as well. Okay, it looks like this guy came back with a lot of vibrato. You hear how he started like, you know, straight, and then the vibrato kind of took off a little bit. And then the brass comes in. It's real subtle, but it adds color and depth. Okay, so in context, but most significant thing that happens here is this 808 kick.
That's quite toppy for an 808 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I might have boosted it or something. Let's see what I did to it. Actually, no, I didn't do a whole lot to it. I just did this, actually. So, yeah. By the way, I'm not using battery sounds. These are all samples that I got. Whew. Matt, do you happen to remember where I got, like, it's like literally like hundreds of drum machines sampled by some guy?
There's that, what was it called? I totally forgot.
Yeah,
It
if
was on
either of us
Reverb.
thinks of what's that?
You could get it from Reverb for a while.
Yeah, I remember it was like $20 or something ridiculous, and
Yeah.
it was like hundreds of machines. So I just took like hours and hours and sorted through the ones that I liked, and then made my own, sample sets in battery. I use Contact for most sampling things, but then if it comes to rhythm and percussive stuff, I like to use battery for that because it lays them out in these little cells. Okay, so we have that. We have some metal coming in over here. Actually, let's see what this is. I don't know where I got these sounds. They're just a bunch of trashy, weird things. That might have been 8DO makes like a noises, sounds like trashy micro. It might be called micro. I don't know.
Can you jump in the
So that key change took me a while, guys. Like, I'm always trying to figure out how I'm gonna create variety and have things like take another step up. And then I had to figure out how to get back to the original key. So it took a while to figure out which keys I'm gonna go to and how I'm gonna get back to that original key, but somehow I made it after a while of working on it. Let's hear that key change again. The strings are doing the work over here of this. Oh, I don't even remember doing this. Okay, that's a fake guitar. Not fake, but that's a sampled guitar. I don't know who makes that one. It's embarrassing that I use sample guitars because I have all these guitars behind me, but sometimes I'm too lazy and I'll just use the sample. But it looks like I then also recorded my own acoustic. Oh, I love this trick, guys. Check this out. I do this with all my acoustics or mandolin. Oh wait, maybe I didn't do the trick. Yeah, I did do the trick. Okay, so I make a space shuttle out of a 421 and a 451. So a condenser with a dynamic, and I tape them together. They're not like recording in stereo. They're literally so close together that it's going to sound mono. But then they're left and right, but then I just get rid of the stereo width. And so I can mix one or the other by just balancing. So if I went straight up and down, it'd be mixing them both together exactly. If I want a little more warmth, I go towards the 421. If I want to go like, get more pristine highs, then I go more towards the 451. And then this is like my blend knob. That's another thing. I don't know anybody that does that, but I always have a lot of fun with that. The most significant instrument that comes in there is this guy here. So hopefully I don't make you guys spend more money, but it's kind of cheap. I just found it on this random, like I don't even own any other instruments from this company. I just found it because I was doing a project for somebody that's doing music from like Israeli music, and so I'm like, well, what's Israeli instruments? So I started looking up the instruments, and this is one of them that I found, and I was like, that's pretty cool. But of course I've did my job of like dressing it with who knows what. Is it frozen? Why can't I pull anything up? Are there no? Oh, there's no inserts. Okay, never mind. All right, keep going then. Okay, my computer can't handle this, so I'm gonna play for you the pipe organ. It's an 8DO pipe organ. This is fantastic organ by 8D. Not 8DO. Spitfire. And then I've also added the highs here in a separate organ. That way I can determine the mix that I want and the timbre that I want, even the reverb. So even though it sounds like one instrument, it's actually the same instrument doubled. And together. Okay. What else we got? Oh, that's my real harmonium. But Contact makes a harmonium. There's a bunch of harmoniums out there that you can get.
Eric, how do you get the spread on that? Those staccatos.
How am I getting the spread?
Yeah,
there's a
spread
wide knob.
part.
Here, let me unfreeze this and
That's
see.
it. Use the wide knob.
Yeah, but Spitfire specifically has a width right here. It looks like it's not that wide though. That's almost standard.
Yeah.
So,
What's your mic mix on that for? Can you just pull that up real quick?
There.
Okay, so,
So-
you're more close mic than far away.
Yeah, okay, so good question. If this was like more of a soupy, like ambient thing, then of course I would have a lot of loss. But when I'm looking for cha 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 cha, when I'm looking for rhythm, right? That's not gonna come from the ambient mics. That's gonna come from the closer mics. So only because it's like a spiccato type thing am I using? Oh, I pulled up the wrong width. Okay, well that's the same. Is why I'm using so much of this, and I adjusted
Yeah.
it specifically for that, you know, because otherwise it would sound like this as opposed to this. Here, solo the. Okay, so you hear the brass here. So I am doing all this crazy, everybody's following everybody else. So it's not new parts, but this goes along with the organ.
It's kind of they're all chasing each other around in a circle, aren't they? It's almost like it's like I don't know, they're all like following each other around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One's chasing one, but something else is chasing that one, so they're all kind of...
And the cool thing is that none of it's new parts. You know what I mean? That was the organ part. And it's like doubling and doubling and doubling. And honestly, this isn't very loud in the mix, in the final mix. It's just like barely there, but it kind of adds this epic feel that he's experiencing. Looks like I added something. That's Contact. Native Instruments. Who's doing? Let's see. Oh, it's the big booms are providing these low, like, smack hits. Yeah, I showed this, this is so old. Jay was like, "You're using that still?" Big boomers, yeah. Yeah, and then it finishes off with the same way it started. And the easy part of that is I just copy and pasted the MIDI from the beginning at the end. I think the only thing I did was
Eric,
that I
are you
did a little
familiar with
slowdown.
George Winston or influenced by him?
No, wait, Winston. No, I don't think so. Should I look him up?
Yeah, definitely. The piano parts that you did totally remind me of him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
I can attest that. Yeah.
All right,
like
I'm
him.
gonna move over to a mix. Any questions while we're transferring over? This is gonna take a couple minutes to pull up.
Appreciate that, Eric. Thanks.
Yeah.